It's a little bit after 1 o'clock on the 22nd of September 2023, and we're getting ready to take Sequester out for her second sail since the hurricane passed through last Saturday. It's Friday now. So we'll get out, do a little sailing, and today I will shoot some video of our sail. Well, we're off the dock and underway. Very light air in here today. Hopefully there'll be a little more wind when we get out into the Great Harbor. We're on a beam reach right now. Just want to come over here and show you my repaired Genoa. There it is. Sail shape is still pretty good. The sail is not super blown out, particularly when you consider we've had this sail for 20 seasons. We bought it 19 years ago in the spring, and this is the 20th season. Oh, just picking up a little. There she goes. Yeah, she's doing pretty well. The foam luff is pretty much completely compressed, but other than that, the sail is not in that bad a shape, especially now that it's had a superior repair done on the leech. You can see maybe the 1-inch long stitches I put in. As we head out of Southwest Harbor at 2.7 knots, and we'll make it out of here. It's a nice cool day today. It's about 65 back at the dock, and it'll probably be a little bit cooler, but not a lot cooler once we get out of here. And there's the Coast Guard base. We'll look back up harbor, and you can see there are not a lot of boats left here. It has really cleared out following Hurricane Lee. Oh, we're out of Southwest Harbor now. The wind is southeast out here, and so we're beating into it at about 4 knots right now. It's not much wind. There's Greening Island, which we'll sail past. Hopefully the wind will go a little bit more south as we get out here, and we'll be able to clear the end without any trouble. And there's the view up Somme Sound. And today the wind will be blowing straight up Somme Sound, so if you go up there, you either have to be prepared to tack a lot on the way out, because there are places where the sound is only about less than a quarter mile wide, and even at the widest points it's only less than a mile, so lots of tacks to get out of there, or you have to motor back out. And the wind is picking up a little. We're up to 4.5 knots. Over there toward Great Cranberry Island is the schooner Ambergris with a load of tourists out for an afternoon sail. It's one of the several boats that do tourist sails out of Southwest Harbor. It and the Alice E go every day, and there are other boats that will go if they get business. I'm not sure exactly which boats are in the charter business here today in 2023 out of Southwest Harbor. And another look back at the harbor as we sail out. And next year you're going to see a brand new jib. That's a Raleigh Tasker sail that we bought in 2004 at the beginning of the season. And that's a 335 square foot Genoa. And I contacted Raleigh Tasker, and they had the records of my 2004 purchase there. So basically I told them I want the same sail again, and they said great. That sail is going to cost just under $2,000. I also priced it sails at a couple of local sail offs, and without discounts they were over $3,000, and even with discounts they were up around $2,800. So given that I've had good service less out of a Rolly Tasker sail, it was not a hard decision to make to spend $800 less than the cheapest locally built sail. It's a good quality sail, and sail shape is holding up very well for 20 years of use. Yeah, we're looking north mostly at the hills of Mount Desert Island. You can see Bear Island Lighthouse over there, the white building on the closer island. And the shore of Mount Desert Island, that's Northeast Harbor, and we'll be passing by the entrance to Northeast in a little bit, although we're about a mile away from it. And pretty quiet looking over there. Not too many boats left in Gilpatrick Cove, which is back that way. It's pretty quiet out here. There are a few power boats running around, but so far I've only seen one other sailboat, and that was the schooner Ambergris. It's a nice day. We're making around 5 knots right now, and very comfortable sailing. And we are currently finched up almost as high as the boat will go, and making decent speed to weather. Okay, I came back for a second just to point out one of the details of fall sailing here on the coast of Maine. You may notice that compared to earlier in the season, it's crystal clear, and that's sort of typical of fall sailing. We also aren't sweating and suffering from the heat, even though we're in the sun. Matter of fact, we both have jackets on. So there's the entrance to Northeast Harbor over there. You can see a few sailboats, but pretty much all the visiting boats are probably gone. And all the boats that went into Northeast Harbor to hide from the storm are also gone. So we're going to come up and sail past Sutton Island and head over toward Little Cranberry, which is straight ahead up there. And there is Great Cranberry. Okay, I'll come back when we get something else to see. Yeah, we're passing the Friendship sloop Alice E, which is headed west between Sutton Island, which is behind it, and the Cranberries, which are on the other side of us. That is an 1899 vintage Friendship sloop. And looks like he's got 6 passengers right now. There he goes, making good time. That's Sperling Rock Bell there. Which was ringing steadily until I pointed the camera at it. And Little Cranberry Island. The wind went a little bit more easterly, and we're not going to be able to point Little Cranberry Harbor, so we're going to sail past the island. And we're approaching the east end of Sutton Island here. And the white pyramid out there is East Bunker Ledge, and the distant peninsula is the Schoodic Peninsula. It's about 7 or 8 miles away from here. Well, boat speed's down to 3 knots right now. A little bit ago it was down to 2 knots. We're kind of in the lee of the Cranberry Islands. There's Little Cranberry there, and Great Cranberry, and we've got a southeast wind. That's the Island Princess back there, taking a load of tourists around. A lobster boat. I think he's just cleaning up for the day before he goes in. Yeah, there's another lobster boat heading over toward Islesford Harbor on Little Cranberry. And not much boat traffic out here to the east. We're also bucking about a half knot of tide right here. The tide's coming in, and we're going against the tide. Tide is going to be high a bit after 4, so when we come back we should have a favorable tide, and it'll make up for the speed we lost due to the tide on the way out. Well, it's a beautiful day out here, and in just a second, when we get past the east end of Staten Island there, we'll have a fantastic view of Mount Desert Island. Okay, here's the view of Mount Desert Island that you get from Little Cranberry Harbor. One of the best views of MDI available from around here. Really pretty. That's Seal Harbor over there, where the houses and stuff are located. And as we continue to head almost due east, we are experiencing about a 1.5-foot swell coming in from the east right now. If you watch the bow of the boat, you'll notice it's going up and down on the swell. Our wind waves are only a few inches, but that swell is there. It's not exactly a threat or uncomfortable. It's just that you notice the bow of the boat goes up and then down. And you can just see the bubbles starting to come into view behind the closer hill there. 2 closely spaced peaks at the north end of Jordan Pond. We're looking pretty much straight north right now. Wow, it's a pretty day. Very, very clear. Just the tiniest bit of haze, so that stuff that's 6 or 7 miles away looks a little bit hazy, but everything else is sharp and clear as we look at some of the summer cottages on the north side of Little Cranberry Island. There's a boat sailing back in with Mount Desert Island in the background. Very pretty day. And Seal Harbor, which is just aft of that boat, is really we've picked up to a little over 4 knots after being down to mostly around 3. And you can see, looking east toward the Bay of Fundy and Nova Scotia, you can't see anything because they're 100 miles away. And the Scudic Peninsula over there. Okay, I'm looking east now. Sometimes on really clear fall days, you can pick out Petite Maine Lighthouse, which is about 16 miles away over there. Today, I just took a look. I couldn't see it, but it might be obscured by Scudic Island. Have to wait until we're a little bit further out, then I'll take another look. See if I can pick it out over there, because this is the kind of day when you might be able to see it. Well, we're just about ready to turn around. Over there, the white boat you can see is the Cat Ferry on its way to Yarmouth, Nova Scotia from Bar Harbor. And Scudic Peninsula, Scudic Island. And this way, Baker Island. One other sailboat sailing out, and basically right behind that sailboat, behind those trees, is the Cranberry Island Life-Saving Station, which we might be able to see in a minute or 2. And looking to the southeast, not much. Out there about 20 miles is Mount Desert Rock, which is the most offshore lighthouse on the coast of Maine. Yeah, we just tacked around, and there's Mount Desert Island. We're about 1.5 miles south of the island right now, and we're sailing back. There's Little Cranberry, And you can just see the top of the tower on the old life-saving station. Over there, it's going to disappear in just a few seconds. Well, we're approaching the southern tip of Little Cranberry Island. There's a bit of a ledge that sticks out there. And when we get past that, I expect the wind to go a little more southerly. This has been one of those strange sails where we beat out and we tacked around, and now we're beating back in on the reciprocal course. Just the way the wind is blowing and the changes in the wind direction. Another nice view into Seal Harbor, which is pretty empty, and some of the summer cottages on the rocks to the east of Seal Harbor, with the hills of Mount Desert Island in the background. And the big one is Cadillac Mountain. And we're now going to sail along past some summer cottages. When I was a kid, we had a summer cottage on Hood Canal in Washington State. These are a little bit different than that cottage, which basically had a living room slash kitchen, a bathroom, and a bedroom. Of course, that cottage was built right on the edge of the water, and we had a little dock and a boathouse where we kept our 14-foot cedar rowboat, built by Sandy Brothers Boatworks in the late 50s. But our house was a little smaller than anything you see here, and we're going to see some of the more typical Mount Desert Island area summer cottages in just a second as we come up here. I'll stop until we get there. Now here is a more typical summer cottage for around here, and as you can see, these people must be of Spartan heritage in order to deal with staying in that place for a couple weeks in the summer. And I don't know if I could tolerate the lifestyle that represents. And a few years ago, maybe about 15 years ago, they built an extra wing onto it because they clearly needed more space. There, you can get a better view of this side of the cottage. If you look at it on Google Earth, you'll notice that it's actually an L-shaped cottage, and this is only about half of it. Anyway, we're headed back towards Southwest Harbor now. It's ahead a little over 3 miles. There's the east end of Sutton and a beautiful view of Mount Desert Island with the bubbles, the sort of double peak there, which is, as I said, at the north end of Jordan Pond. As we head back west toward Southwest Harbor. Wind is a little fluky in here, keeps swinging around. That's typical sailing off the tip of an island, that the wind is going to be quite changeable. And several much more basic summer cottages here. You know, just demonstrating that you can get by with only about a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot cottage. And of course, one last relatively large one with the rock wall there. And these are all summer homes. Okay, we're sailing back in. This is the Sperling Rock Bell between Sutton and Great Cranberry. This one's an actual bell. Second, you'll be able to get a good view of it. clappers as we sail past on our way back to Southwest Harbor. And here's the schooner Ambergris with a load of tourists heading east toward Little Cranberry Island. And you can be one of the tourists aboard. Just have to call up Ambergris Sailing. Okay, well, we've got about 2 miles to go to get back to the marina, so I'm gonna end the video here and say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed coming along for this beautiful fall sail on September 22nd, 2023 in the great harbor of Mount Desert Island, Maine. Thanks for watching.